and welcome to the third edition of the Fantasy Football Scout. Today we're going to be discussing some top FootballCoin picks. Actually, talking to Edward here, he's going to let us know who he thinks should be in and who's out of his team plans for the upcoming future. So Edward,
Yes.
How's it been going?
Thank you. It's great to be here. It's going good.
You're mostly playing Russian Premier League, I think, the Bundesliga. So let's talk about that. Who's disappointed you so far?
Well, in the Russian league, I had some disappointments. Alexei and Anton Miranchuk are not on the top of their game. Juba and Azmoun are lacking goals, but Zenit is going strong and they took a win in Moscow last round against Spartak. So they are back in the title race.
All right, let me just back up a second. What are you looking for when you're choosing a player specifically for the Russian competitions?
To score goals, provide assists.
Right, so that's where the points are, right?
Yes.
How big of a competition are you having so far? Like the top players, what's separating you from them? Is it mostly goals, assists, or do you have to look for things?
I'm lacking goals in the goal department. Chalov, Smolov, Juba are not scoring goals, and I'm losing points because of this. And their clubs are losing points in the standings.
All right. So, who would you recommend you replace them with? So Zenit's doing obviously really good.
Well, for the moment, I will stick with this team. And I'm hoping that they will start to score because they are good players. They're the best players in their league.
Okay, so you're going for consistency. It's just the first few weeks where teams are still adjusting to the new season, right?
Yes.
It's mostly a new season kind of blues. Okay. I know you're also really focusing on the Bundesliga, or not so many of our users are. I'm just gonna want you to talk us through this. Have you had any big surprises?
We had a huge surprise the last match. Borussia lost in Berlin against Union 3-1. It was a huge surprise, and but I managed to win the competition.
Congrats!
Because it's the third round in a row when the best trio in a league this season, Werner, Alcacer, and Lewandowski are scoring, and Werner managed a hat-trick in the last round. They are incredible. The best trio in any league in this moment. It's in Bundesliga.
So great consistency there, top results. I'm gonna be honest, just on a personal note, really happy for Union Berlin. I like Dortmund as well, but it's a big surprise. I know a lot of people are seeing them as possible relegates come the end of the season, but a great result here. Okay, so I'm guessing these are the players that are in your squad for the upcoming weeks as well, right?
Yes, we have to take care because of the surprises that can appear in the lineups. I saw that Borussia is not settling. They missed Hazard because of injury in ribs, and they replaced it with Julian Brandt. But I think for Brandt to have a good season at Borussia Dortmund, he needs to play a 4-1-4-1. He needs to be more in the center, to stay close with Witsel and Alcacer to make the ball transition. In the last match they played the 4-2-3-1 and he was too isolated on the left side and where Hazard plays usually. I think Brandt didn't find his pitch position still. We have also the Bayern enigma where Kimmich started to play in the center of the field.
Right.
Pavard is the right back in this moment, and we'll see how Niko Kovac will fit both of them, because I think Kimmich is starting to be a legend in Bayern Munich.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also Pavard, it's a very talented and young player, and he cannot be put on the bench. We'll see how Bayern will line up in the next round. Also Borussia how will line up. But I think in this moment Leipzig is very strong, and they have Sabitzer, they have Werner. It's incredible. And we need to take care firstly on the lineups.
Yeah, absolutely. So you need a player to hopefully play 90 minutes to start the game. So that's
we lose the 5 points.
Yeah.
For
So
the
it's those
first
5
team
points.
player.
What about? I know we talked about offensive records. What about defense? What do you generally look for in? What do you generally look for in? I would say goalkeeper, defender. So you're just looking for a team that keeps a clean sheet mostly. What's your strategy there?
When I'm talking about Bundesliga, you can have goals and also very nice defending display, because in the last match Bayern had 2 goals scored with Alaba and Pavard, who are left back and right back, and also Pavard provided an assist.
That gets you a lot of points.
Yes, a lot of points from Bayern Munich. So I'm trying to keep it balanced, to watch for the clean sheet, but also to watch for the shots on goal, for the goals, because they bring many points to our fantasy teams.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think last season, if I'm not mistaken, Sommer was actually the top-rated keeper in the Bundesliga in FootballCoin. So not necessarily, a very famous keeper. So that just says something about the Bundesliga. Just moving on with our idea for today: who's in, who's out. What are your feelings about Coutinho? Does he have a place in the Bayern squad? Would you be choosing him?
We need to take care, because Coutinho started the last match for Bayern, but he was substituted in the 60th minute. Muller came in and he managed 2 assists. So he brought the points, but I think Coutinho will start again in the next round. He's the number 10. He took the number 10 jersey, and he's very important. And also, I don't see Muller of having a good season.
Again,
I think Coutinho will lead Bayern to success again in Bayern Liga, how they say, not Bundesliga. It's Bayern Liga. 7 titles in a row.
It's extremely dominated, even though obviously there are a bunch of other top teams this year, Dortmund, Leipzig. Do you see those maybe challenging for the title, or you don't think they're that strong yet? Or just Bayern are they too strong?
If someone else will win the Bundesliga, it will be a surprise. But Leipzig is looking good, and Borussia needs to find their ideal lineup, their ideal formation.
Right. Obviously, they still have some top stars there.
Yes.
The Sancho and Alcacer. We should mention that most of the cards we actually talked about here, they're free cards. Russia and Germany, I guess 95% of the cards there are free.
Yeah,
Coutinho, should mention that that is a collectible card just because he's coming from Spain, from Barcelona, but might be worth your XFC, I'm guessing.
We don't have many paid players in the Bundesliga, so yes, Coutinho is worth the investment. Let's not forget that he's playing as a number 10 behind Lewandowski, and they can make a good couple.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can provide many assists and many goals from long range. We know he cuts in, he finds it to the top corner, so Coutinho can bring you assists, shots on target, and also goals.
Right. So he's that kind of player, because I mean, obviously there were a lot of talks. Is Coutinho, a player that will score goals? Is he mostly a guy that will help in the midfield? You're thinking Bayern is the opportunity to do both, just as he did at Liverpool at the very end, right?
Yes, and in my opinion, he will have at least 10 assists this season and 5 goals.
Right.
Over 10 assists and 5 goals.
Let me ask you something else just in closing here. I know we talked a lot about stats on the show and even in private. Obviously, to create a winning team, you need to look out for the essential stats, the goals, the assists. But I know you really farmed the lesser known stats. What would you recommend, let's say in a pro competition? What should some of the managers be looking out for?
Substituted in and substituted out.
Sure.
You need to take care of this, because you will have -1 point if your player will be taken out. You have to watch also for the yellow cards, red cards.
Absolutely.
And we saw in the recent match between Schalke and Hertha Berlin at own goals, both central defenders of Hertha
Right. Yeah.
had one own goal, and you lose a lot of points.
Yeah. So it's obviously not just about what the team does, the results in itself, but just what the players do. Like for example, United hasn't been performing great, but their new additions, Maguire and Wan-Bissaka, they've done really well, brought in a lot of points. So it's that as well. So in closing, who do you?
As an advice, when you enter a competition, you need to have the way of thinking to farm as many points, because every point counts.
Yeah, differences are really slim right now,
Very
especially
slim.
for winners.
Less than 1 point maybe.
Yeah.
So you need that player who will play 90 minutes.
I'm gonna, in closing, surprise you with a question here. I'm gonna give you my answer as well. I was thinking of players, of cards you might want to be considering selling at this point in time if you do have them. Like, I'll give you my opinion. For example, I really think your Mandzukic card should be going on the market.
Yes,
it's just been
definitely.
announced he's not gonna play in the Champions League. He's not in the team that Juventus have registered. What are you thinking? Some of the players, or give me at least one player you think maybe should be placed on the market if you do have their card.
Well, it's too early to say that, but I don't think that players with high value as Dybala can be still kept in the club with such a high value. Maybe it's better to sell them now.
So you heard it here first. Your Dybalas, your Mandzukic might be going on the market right now. Might be a good investment for something else. That's about all the time we have today. This is the third edition of the Fantasy Football Scout. We're actually in for a bit of an international break, but we'll be back, and all the top competitions of the world, all the top leagues will be back in FootballCoin. So get ready to choose your ultimate fantasy drafts. As always, you are the manager. Thank you, Edward.
Thank you very much.